So we left RV life behind and moved to Panama, and our first 90 days were not what we expected.
Some things were easier than the US, some things were harder, and some things were totally unexpected.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob.
And I'm Miko.
And we're Wander Open Roads. So after 20 years of RVing, we decided to embark on a new adventure. So we sold everything and decided to move to Panama. And I think one of the things that really kind of spurred this along was really just some of the international trips that we had taken, a lot of the cruises that we had taken, and just the culture and the environment was just so different and interesting to us. We decided to check it out.
Yeah. So we just started doing some research, looking at a variety of countries, Mexico, Costa Rica, Portugal, but ultimately Panama just checked the most boxes.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, it has a dollarized economy, its proximity to the US, the modern infrastructure, and we really wanted to have international living without giving up the conveniences.
So, there are a lot of people that like to talk about their first 90-day experience. Ours is a little different because we have two very specific caveats. The first, we came here sight unseen.
Which we do not recommend.
We do not recommend, no. Yeah, we had never been to Panama. Yeah.
So when we came with our 10 suitcases, it was our first time being in Panama.
Yes. Don't recommend it. Everything has worked out great, but yeah, we don't recommend that. So the second thing that makes our experience different is that we decided to buy an investment property immediately rather than coming here and renting first.
Right. So we wanted to basically set ourselves up for this to be the home base, not necessarily our forever home, although it could be. We wanted flexibility and options.
Absolutely.
So when you first get to wherever it is that you're going to live in whatever country you're getting to, for us, again, Panama, one of the first things that you have to do is figure out where you're going to live.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do all of your neighborhood searches and all of that. But once you've done that, our recommendation is that you actually stay in an Airbnb first in that particular neighborhood, so you can kind of get a feel for things without the commitment.
Yeah, so when we first came here, we actually stayed in an Airbnb for the first 6 weeks. We were in El Cangrejo, which is a neighborhood that is fairly close to San Francisco, where we live now. And that was definitely a good experience while we were going through our purchasing process with our condo. So we were getting to know Panama City and learning some of the places to go and shop and just really how to live day to day. So that was a very valuable experience. But yeah, being in the actual neighborhood that you're looking at is very critical. You do not want to buy or rent on Avenida Balboa and you've never heard the noise on a Saturday night.
Exactly. Yeah. And then from there, once you've kind of narrowed down your neighborhood, then you want to kind of be making those decisions. Okay, am I going to do like a long-term rental, or am I going to buy a property? There's different considerations that go into that. So you kind of need to, figure out what it is, you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Panama City is that there's a lot of inventory.
Yes.
Yeah. So you are not going to have a hard time trying to find a place to rent or buy or trying to find an Airbnb. There's a lot of inventory out there, so that's a good thing. But the renting versus buying process is very different. Our buying process, we went through a lot of different hurdles, dealing with contractors that only spoke Spanish, trying to have realistic timeline expectations, especially when dealing here in Panama with the mañana mentality of trying to get things done, and even just things like different rules within your apartment buildings, where There was no work that could be done on Sundays, no work after 5 o'clock, quiet hours during lunchtime. So there were a lot of rules that we had to learn about and adjust to.
Yes. And so as you're, again, looking for a place to live, you want to decide, okay, do I want to find a place that's furnished so I can just move right in and it's turnkey?
Yeah.
Or do you want to get a place that has like your own style, where you can create your own style and it's unfurnished so that you can buy your own furniture?
Yeah, one of the biggest complaints that we've heard from a lot of our friends that got rentals, furnished rentals, is the furniture was not comfortable, the bed was not comfortable, the couch was not comfortable, the chairs are not comfortable, and so that was a big complaint, I guess, especially coming from the U.S. I don't know if it's because we're like larger and we need more cushion, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, it was the comfort of the furniture. So in that way, purchasing for us was great because we were able to pick out all of our furniture.
Right. And so when you're looking for a place, and let's say that it's furnished, you're looking at the place, but you also need to be evaluating how livable that place is with the things that's in it. So that is a major consideration.
And I would also just mention, be very careful about just saying, oh, I will ship all of my furniture from the States.
Yes.
Yeah, the sizing of these, even the houses, the apartments, the sizing is a little different. It's smaller, kind of think Europe, right?
Yeah, I mean.
So a lot of the U.S. furniture is just really not going to fit. Plus the cost.
Yes, the cost.
Yeah, the cost is significant to ship furniture from the U.S. versus buying it here. In the price point here is definitely a lot more reasonable.
Right, and there's a lot of options. So, if it's just something that you treasure and you don't want to let go,
Sure.
then yeah, go ahead and ship it over. But if you're not emotionally tied to it,
Leave it behind.
it's a chance for a fresh start and a new look. And I know for me, I was like, yeah, I'm taking that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, as we were looking for a place, there were a lot of things that kind of surprised us. Like, what we've learned is that the condition that the apartment, condo, house that it comes in, that's what it is.
It is what it is. The previous owner, landlord they're not going to clean it up. They're not going to fix anything. It's literally going to be as is, which is very different from, I feel like because we've bought and sold 7 houses in our over our 30 years of marriage, and you hire a handyman, or you fix things up, you get it cleaned, you paint, you do things to make the property attractive. And here, that's not the mindset.
No, so like when we first walked into the door of the property that we're currently in, honestly, I was actually shocked, even though I had already seen pictures, I had already seen video. The pictures and the videos, hardly do it justice. There were so many things that we didn't see, and I was just shocked at the condition of it, honestly. I mean, it wasn't a deal breaker, but I was very surprised.
Yeah, there are a lot of tidbits and things that you really need to understand about property in Panama, and we just really need to do a whole video on it because there's so many things. Humidity is a big thing, and you need to be able to look out for humidity damage and possible mold contamination, and those are very important things. So yeah, we're going to talk about that further for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the different places to live in Panama City. One term that you have to learn is PH, and that it stands for horizontal property. And a lot of expats are going to live in basically what you see high-rise condo buildings. Okay, so you have those. You have smaller condo buildings, and then you have, of course, just single-family homes. So there's every option available in Panama City. We actually live in a PH high-rise, and it definitely has some pros to it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like. This is our first time living in a high-rise, so it is very different. We've always lived in a single-family home, so it's very different. I feel like there's instant community because we are getting to know our neighbors because, like, they're just right down the hall or they're just right below us. very much feels like a college dorm almost.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
I mean, for us to get together and throw together like a game night or have someone over for dinner, it's just very super easy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just like throw on some house shoes and walk up the stairwell and go to somebody else's place. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, so I actually like it. And the amenities that come with a high rise, you have your pools and your gyms, and depending on what building you select, there could be restaurants and other type of amenities that just make your life living in that building so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus you have 24-hour security. There's a doorman. There are people that are cleaning all of the common areas and keeping everything nice and doing renovations. So there's really very little that you have to think about or worry about outside of your individual apartment, which, being a homeowner for so many years is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't miss, all the different things that we had to do with owning a home. Like, I don't mind taking out the trash right now because it's literally just going out the front door into the stairwell, boop, and I'm done.
Yeah.
In my house shoes.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things in these PH buildings, I mean, the walls are concrete. These are very, because they have different standards for earthquakes and different things like that, with the building codes. So concrete walls, we do not hear the neighbors at all.
No. I mean, we might hear like some conversations happening in the hallway, like when someone's getting on the elevator, but outside of that, no. Yeah,
definitely. And each building, they're going to already have their different lines for cable and internet and things of that nature. In a high rise, you might have some water pressure issues or things like that. But the biggest thing that I'll say when choosing a particular building is make sure that they have a backup electrical and water system. Yes. As our building does have a backup generator and their own standalone water system. So in case there is some type of an outage or something's going on, it automatically kicks on and it doesn't even affect you.
Right, and that was one of the things that we were actually considering as we were trying to choose our building, is making sure that those specific features were available. Not knowing that we would be needing them, but we have.
Yeah, for sure. So, being right here in Panama City and finding your particular PH or your single family home, you definitely want to go and scope out the whole neighborhood, walk the street, see how walkable it is, see how close you are to the bank, the grocery store, finding a barber or a nail salon or whatever type of services that you were going to want to have access to.
Yes, and you also want to consider the walkability, like in that neighborhood, just making sure that you're comfortable walking around. And then the traffic, how heavy is it? Is it very loud? Or are you like on a really busy street? So you want to kind of consider those things. And that's really what we did as we were looking at the property. We got there, we walked around, we stood out on the balcony and, listened for the traffic. We made sure that we came at different times of day so that we know what the look and the feel and the sound was, in those different, situations.
Yeah, because even being within the same building, the noise can be different depending on which side that you're facing.
Yes.
If you were facing a busy street and then someone on the other side of the building is facing the opposite direction, it can be a drastic difference in the noise level. So you have to take all those things into consideration when you're living in the city. So we learned so much in our first 90 days here in Panama, and there's so much more to tell you.
Yes, there is. And so we're going to continue this conversation in another 90-day series where we will be talking about the cost of living.
Absolutely, the real numbers. So hey, if you are interested in content about moving to Panama or expat life and getting outside of the tourist bubble, please subscribe to our channel and continue to check out our videos because we have a lot of them coming. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Wander safely.